Hey, what's up guys, it's Damir. This story today is going to be my first time doing DXM. This was around my 8th grade year of school, and I remember someone telling me that you could trip on cough syrup. But specifically it had to be Delsym and not NyQuil because of the acetaminophen. Anyways, I decided I would stop by Walgreens and steal some. I stole around 2 grape 5-ounce bottles and put them in my pocket, and I walked out. It was around the rush hour for Walgreens, so it wasn't a big deal. I just kind of grabbed it and left. Once I got home from school, I decided I would dose before dinner, so by the time dinner was over, I could go to my room and just trip fucking bowls. I usually don't have much anxiety about tripping around my parents because they're pretty clueless when it comes to drug use. Besides that, I had an OxyContin problem, which was pretty out of control. Right before dinner, I drank the entire 5-ounce bottle of DXM Polyostrix. It equals around to 888 milligrams. And the first thing I noticed around dinner, which is like a feeling of floating, I felt super light and felt like I was gonna float away. It's pretty indescribable, but I kind of felt like I need to grab onto something because it was a really strong feeling. I was starting to feel like I was getting incoherent at this point because, not really incoherent, but I was definitely spacing out a lot more. It was starting to kick in, and anyways, after dinner, I went to my room, which is in the basement, and I logged onto Discord. And I started talking with some friends while watching YouTube on the come up. Visually, the first thing I began to notice is almost a blurry hexagonal shapes around. Light was super weird looking, and everything looked starry, blurry, and weird. Around an hour into my trip, due to not taking any Benadryl for potentiation and nausea reduction, I began having a really upset stomach. This was pretty bad considering it was my first dissociative experience, and I was shitting a lot of fluids, so I had a headache and was very dehydrated. This was pretty bad because I was relatively inexperienced with dissociatives, and I thought I was maybe overdosing and maybe need to go to the hospital. But I calmed down, and eventually my stomach calmed down as well, and I rejoined VC. By this time, I was peaking decently hard. Everything was pretty cool looking. Everything was starry, and music sounded fantastic. I was rambling pretty hard, and I was a bit incoherent. I started talking really fast about the universe and existence, and I eventually decided I was going to get off Discord and watch more YouTube and coast out the experience. I got pretty bored pretty fast and decided I was going to take a walk around my neighborhood. My perception gets really crazy here as I was walking around for around 10 minutes, and I eventually thought that aliens were holding up the sidewalk, and everything around me was falling into a void. I started panicking here a little bit, but I didn't really care too much as I didn't appear to be in any danger from what was happening. I felt like I was going to blow away, but beyond that, it was pretty cool. I was walking around entirely dissociated. I barely knew where I was, but somehow I managed to make it to a park around 10 minutes away from my house. I was on the swings. I got on the swings and I started swinging. This feeling was super weird. It was like I was flying around, similarly to like Marceline from Adventure Time. And it was super cool, and I ended up just doing that for 30 minutes. My vision was super black around the edges and almost had like a galaxy type of look to it, like tunnel vision but with stars. Anyways, I decided I was going to start walking back, and almost as soon as I was about to turn onto my street, a group of guys pulled up next to me. It was 2 dudes, and their name was Eric and Chris. Eric was more of a social dude, and he was pretty cool, pretty talkative, and Chris was more of a quiet guy. Chris was usually... Later times I hung out with him, he was usually barred out. Kind of hard to talk to because he was barred out. If you've ever done Xanax, it is really hard to talk on that shit because you just sound stupid and you're slurring everything. Anyways, they were around 17 is what I noticed when they pulled up. That's what they looked like. And I started talking to them. I don't really remember much of the conversation except they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm out late, not doing anything," because I wasn't going to admit I was on drugs. I was kind of worried they were going to like call the cops on me, even though they were probably doing the same thing. But dissociated me didn't think like that. So around this time, I just kind of was explaining that I was just walking around, got bored. They knew I was full of shit, and they were like, "We just started heading out. If you want to come smoke with us, that'd be pretty lit." And I decided I was going to do it. I didn't really care. I didn't really know these dudes, but I was kind of at a point around here when things were kind of rough, I just kind of went. I didn't really care what was going to happen to me, and we ended up smoking around 1, and we went to like this parking garage. Parking garage was alright. We just kind of were here just to smoke and then leave. And then after we finished smoking, we went downtown, and I eventually found out these guys were pretty much exactly as I said. Eric was 16 and Chris was 17, and they both went to my school. They went to the school. I was in middle school, or I was in 8th grade, and they were juniors. So there was like, I went to the middle school and they went to the high school. Anyways, they ended up telling me that they live in a trap house, and I was kind of intrigued by this because I didn't really know much about drugs. And pretty much what happened is they were telling me like, hey man, if you ever need anything, we can hook you up. We'll give you a good deal. You're a pretty cool dude. And I was pretty excited about that. Anyways, though, after we finished smoking, I didn't really know what I was doing, so they kind of had to teach me. That was pretty cool. I had no idea why they were so friendly. They were probably just bored. Similarly to me, the weed kind of made the DXM a lot more psychedelic feeling. Everything kind of got more tracer-like and even more intense with the stars, like I was seeing the starry effect of the lights. And where my downtown is, there's a lot of parties always happening. There's a lot of bars, there's a lot of concerts, a lot of music. It's pretty cool. And even though it was really late on a weekday, there were a lot of people out. So we kind of walked around for like 2.5 hours, just like stopping at random venues, just kind of chilling out. Anyways, everything sounded amazing. It was super cool. We were super fucked up. Well, I was way more fucked up than they were because they just smoked. And we just kind of chilled out for a while. There were some people doing coke that I saw. That was pretty funny. I didn't really know what they were doing. Later I found out it was coke, and this kind of grew my interest for coke a little bit, not gonna lie. I ended up deciding I was gonna try it, but that's for a later story. And around 3:30, I decided I was getting pretty tired, so we started walking back to the car. It took around 30 minutes, and we got back to the car, and another 20 minutes, and they dropped me off at home. I took a shower, and I went to sleep. I had some very weird dreams, kind of like the same thing of the feeling of floating, except I was pretty aware in this dream. It was kind of like a low-key lucid dream, but not entirely. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if there's any drug you'd like me to cover, and I'll let you know if I've done it or not. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.